Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's CFL Weekly Show. We apologize for missing last week. Some prior commitments and some illness kind of derailed us from going live. But we are back this week with a recap of Week 15. And man, we're 6 weeks away from the end of the regular season. So a lot playoffs are right around the corner. A lot going on for the playoffs. How you guys doing? How did you guys enjoy last week's games? It's been about 2 weeks since we last talked. Had everyone on the show. So, how you guys doing?
Yeah, doing good. Like it was a busy week for myself personally. Didn't get to watch a lot of the games as per usual, but yeah, no, they looked like some exciting games. I mean, I know we'll talk about it. The Argos Elks game was the one game where I saw a majority of it, and that had an exciting finish, and then even some post game activity afterwards. But other than that, it was a high scoring weekend. I mean, the coach isn't going to like this, but the Riders almost had 50 put up on them, and the Argos lost another quarterback, even though they won. Like it was a lot happening last week.
It was. But I'm doing good, boys. I know Shane likes to joke of how I look. I'm a little tired, but like we were talking about offline, it feels like it's been like more than 2 weeks since we've all been here together. I feel like it's with like maybe like 3 people here, 2 people here, and we all got life going on, so I get it. But I'm excited to chat some CFL with you guys and get back on the saddle, I guess.
Well, I'm good. These football days is kicking my ass and back to school and all that. So, hey, we just doing the damn thing. And I've actually missed y'all. I've actually missed you guys.
We
Coach
missed
couldn't even
you.
say he just missed us. He had to say, I actually missed you guys. Hey, Coach? Don't worry, we missed you too.
We missed you too. We missed the chirping.
But
Yeah, I mean, it was an exciting week of football. The Rough Riders did get almost 50 dropped on them. I don't know how you let that happen, especially
they
to
were playing
Bethel
their
Thompson.
third string quarterback corner. That's why.
Still inexcusable.
Agreed.
One player doesn't make or break a defense, or it shouldn't make or break a defense. But yeah, we'll jump right into it, and then between the breaks, we'll do some CJFL news and go over the CJFL scores because wild week in the BCFC with the playoffs just around the corner there, and then obviously U Sports is kind of in full swing, and it's already week 4. It's on heading into week 5, so U Sports is wrapping up with pretty quickly too. And then we'll jump into the picks for this week. We'll just foreshadow. Last week was not good for myself and Coach. Lost quite a bit of room heading against Blake and Cole. But it is what it is. Call it a comeback. We're going to start this week.
Wow.
You just had to
let's
throw
jump
that
into it.
shot in there, Shane.
Let's jump right into it. Hamilton, Winnipeg. Hamilton beat the Blue Bombers 32-21. And it wasn't even that pretty of a game. Like, Blue Bombers just did not look good. Strevler did not look good. I have serious concerns around Winnipeg and what they can do if Strevler is going to be starting any more than one.
Yeah, no, I mean, Coach, you want to piggyback on that, or do you want me to go?
No, I'll piggyback.
We know how Blake feels.
No, I was actually not surprised, but then I was like, wow, what the fuck is going on with this one? Yeah, Strevler struggled. Seems to be the new trend. I feel like their offense is without the weapons, without Sean, Kalaros not running the show. The offense kind of goes into fluster. But it was just a bad game overall. Bad football from all facets of the game. And hats off to Hamilton for capitalizing on opportunities to win the game. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, they won. And now Winnipeg has to make a decision on what they're going to do with the future. I'm thinking it's because I saw somebody post on Instagram. They were like, what's the black quarterback's name again? I cannot remember the name of
Terry Wilson.
They were eviscerating Terry Wilson. All the Bombers people, they were like, he sucks. I'm like, what did this man? What was it that bad?
Must have been.
Because I didn't get a chance to see the game. I just saw little tidbits here and there, and followed along with the highlights. But the Blue Bombers are not the team that we thought they would be, and it is what it is. Tough loss.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of conversation around Terry Wilson as of like, if you're not going to start him, like Strevler went 18 for 29 for 241 with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. People are like, if you're not going to put if you're starting Strevler over Wilson and Strevler's struggling, you're not going to put Wilson in. You clearly don't believe in Wilson. Like, clearly he's not good enough to start if you're not willing to even put him into like for a drive. Which I agree with. Like you should be able to put in your third string quarterback if you believe in him when your starter / second string isn't producing.
Yeah, no, like I would agree. Like it's no secret like that I'm not a fan of the Blue Bombers. I'm not really a fan of Chris Strevler, and like last week proved it. Like Hamilton is what, and Cole's probably the only one that'll get this reference, but like Hamilton is what the Canucks used to be when they were really good. Like they get up for the big games, they would play well in those games, and then when they played the kind of weaker teams, they would almost play down to their level. Like they would win a majority of those games, but they would play down to the level of the opponent. And it seemed like that's what Hamilton did last week. Like I think they got out to a pretty big lead and then just kind of coasted the rest of the game. And yeah, like Chris Strevler's not the answer. I'm not convinced. I know he's practiced in a limited capacity yesterday and today, but like when do you say enough is enough with Claros? Like, because if he takes one, and Milt Stiegel already said this, like if he takes one hit against the Red Blacks, that could be another concussion. And like at some point, you have to worry about your career outside of football.
Right.
Like, yeah, you're football players, you're paid to play football, but like you're also human beings. You have families and stuff to worry about. Like it's not that serious where you have to risk your long-term health to play a game of football.
They extended them too, which is the crazy thing, did they not?
Yeah,
They
last
extended him in the
offseason,
offseason, yeah.
Yeah, which is like I feel like it's super counterintuitive with obviously the Algersma situation at that time. We have hindsight now, and now he's obviously a free agent, so it's like, why did you kind of go in that sense where like maybe in closer to draft time, you maybe thought Algersma would maybe be a selection in the NFL draft, or maybe would have hung around a little bit longer in Green Bay, where now it's like you do have this guy like on your doorsteps going into next offseason pretty much, especially if he only gets workouts. Like you drafted this guy to be maybe the next guy, and now it's like you're gonna, I feel like, not let go of Zach because of what Zach did for you. But regardless, I feel like you do have to respect the history, the championships, Grey Cups, whatever. But at a point, you do also have to like turn over a new leaf, and like Blake and I kind of had this conversation like the 1 year too early rather than 1 year too late. But at the end of the day, too, like they kind of have held on to their guys, right? Other than like Biggie, like Stanley's still there, Willie's still there, so I feel like kind of riding it out with this crew maybe is something that they want to do. But I kind of feel like all of us, to a sense, almost don't trust Winnipeg for the rest of the way. Like you can't trust Zach, and you most definitely can't trust Strebler, and then like Terry Wilson, obviously, like the organization is saying what it all it needs to. So it's gonna be interesting to see if like BC or Edmonton can capitalize on like Winnipeg's, I feel like, struggles here at the wrong time probably for Winnipeg. There's a lot of like I know coach was talking about the Terry Wilson and people and the fans like bitching about that. I saw a lot of people just crashing out like in general that were Winnipeg fans. Like I know Schnitzy was crashing out pretty hard, and
he was pretty mad.
There's a couple other guys that were like just really worked up. And hey, I get it. Like I'm sure the last 3 years maybe specifically are a little bit more rough when you get there and then you lose. But I feel like at the end of the day, like they did their damage. Like they had a 5-year run. At some point, it comes
Thank
to an
you.
end, and it's coming to an end. Like I hate to break it to Winnipeg fans if they hate to hear it, but like there is clearly 2 better teams in the conference better than you, probably 3 or 4 teams better in the CFL than you. So it's like, you had a good run. It's time to move the fuck over, and hopefully, like the future is brighter for you because you do have Elgersma. Like that should be the next year should be the plan of like if you can get him. Obviously, that's dependent on workouts and stuff like that. But like he should be the future and building for the Elgersma future, opposed to riding out whatever you have left with Zach Laros.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
this, and then, well, I'm gonna say this real quick. Uh, the reality is, there's never a right way. There's never a right way to go about these things. We could talk about a year too early better than a year too late. We can talk about all that, but there's no right way to do it, man. And Winnipeg fans have had it so good for the last 5 years that I don't think they're ready for the reality to hit. That you're
No.
about to be at the bottom of the barrel. You're going back to reality. Like you had a good run. It is, everybody has a good window of opportunity, but that shit's finna be closed with bars on it, if you know what I mean. So I feel bad for Zach though, because he's given his all. He's been through it.
No,
So
I
I
agree. Like I feel bad for Zach, but like the fact of the matter is, and like we were, like you guys know that I was in Winnipeg for the Banjo Bowl. Like I was talking to some people, and yes, they were Riders fans, but I was talking to some people like even before that game, like before Zach got hurt, and especially with Zach's injury now. I would almost say that it's like more realistic than not that the Bombers miss the playoffs entirely. Like the Lions or the Elks finish in that 3 seed. Whoever doesn't finish as the 3 seed finishes as the 4 seed and potentially crosses over. And the Blue Bombers finish dead last in the division and miss out on the playoffs, which would be an absolute kick in the junk to that core and the fans as they're hosting the Grey Cup this year. Like it was built as like one last shot trying to win the Grey Cup at home. And if you miss the playoffs entirely, like you just lost everything that you worked for.
I love that Blake said kick in the junk. It took me a second to realize what he said. But he's right though in a sense. The thing that I do have to credit Winnipeg, man, because this season, for whatever ups and downs, that fan base is incredible for selling
Oh, yeah.
out that stadium time and time again. So I'm curious to see what happens now. If, like struggles come, do they waver a little bit, or are they very grateful for the last few years and for the almost dynasty, whatever you want to call it, the 2-year run or the two Grey Cups that came out of it. Like at the end of the day, I know it sounds like Cole, you don't know what it's like because you're not inside the fan base, but like be grateful, man. Like you had a hell of a run. It's not often that teams win win the West like 5 years in a row. It's time to move the hell over, and it's teams like Calgary and Saskatchewan's time.
And to Blake's point about missing the playoffs, it is very, very possible that they do. Like, if they lose this week to Ottawa, they have Hamilton by Edmonton, Saskatchewan one more time, and then Montreal to end the season.
Which by then you would expect like Davis Alexander and
Yeah.
like a bunch of other names to be
And to
fully
be
healthy.
fair, you're tied with BC and you're a game back from Edmonton. Or a game up on Edmonton. Like it is a very
Yeah, and
real
that head to
possibility.
head could swing the season series. So
Yeah, like it is a very real possibility that if Winnipeg doesn't get this win on Saturday, that they're looking at they need to go at least probably 3-1 over the last 4 games to get into the playoffs, and that's just to be like a 3rd seed going to Calgary to even have a chance at sniffing the Grey Cup, which is wild considering that heading into Labor Day, we were talking about how they had a chance to steal number 1 from Saskatchewan.
yeah,
Like they were in a position 3-4 weeks
come at
ago.
you
They're
fast.
like take over, not even just cement themselves in a playoff spot, but like take over the division and set themselves up for a West final. And now we're talking about them potentially not even making the playoffs.
CFL.
Hey, part of the game.
Crazy. And Hamilton, I mean, I think basically they're 2 wins away from locking up the East Division.
Yeah.
Based on like games remaining, and they're 2 games up on Montreal. I think they win. If
They
win,
won the season series as well, did they not?
I believe so. If they can win this week against Edmonton and beat Winnipeg, they basically guarantee themselves a spot with only I think 3 games remaining.
Yeah.
So then they need 2 wins and a Montreal loss to guarantee the East Division over the next 2 weeks. So, but yeah, moving on to the next game. The Friday night game, BC beat Ottawa 38-27. I don't know what the hell happened in that game, but BC's offense Ottawa's defense was Swiss cheese. Like I don't know, like it was a good game to watch. Like honestly, like the offense did overly well, but when your defense can't get a stop, it was like what 4 straight drives ended in touchdowns for the Lions. Like
yeah, the first 4 drives of the game.
Like at some point, you just as an offense, you're like I can't. Like unless you're matching it every drive, you're gonna lose that game. Like it is what it is. I wish their defense and offense would talk to each other and play a game together. That'd be nice for once. But good job to BC. Good job. Like honestly, Nathan Rourke looked fantastic. BC's offense looked really well. Tip your hat to BC. Move on to next week. You've already lost the season.
Like, yeah, I won't go too much into this game because I wasn't in attendance. I don't know, just with the coaching schedule and whatnot, I don't know when I'll be in attendance again. But I was following along, of course, and whatever, and I know Cole was in attendance, so I'll let him go further into detail. But kind of further to Shane's point, like when the offense starts out with 4 touchdowns on the first 4 drives, I don't believe they even punted till like the middle of the 3rd quarter or something like that. And like the defense did enough. It wasn't great. It wasn't perfect again, not even close, but like that's going to be the Lions formula. Like the offense has scored over 30 points in 4 straight games, I believe it is.
6.
But yeah, so yeah, like even further, they've scored over 30 points in 6 straight games. It's just going to be whether the defense can do enough. And this week, they did enough. So the Lions won.
Yeah, I agree pretty much with Blake. It was nice to be back actually at a Lions game. It's been 2 months since I've been to a game. So, as Shane said, it was really nice that they started out 4 drives, 4 touchdowns to start the game. I feel like that's a huge, like, I have this very back and forth with, like, I wouldn't even say Vancouver sports fans, but like BC sports fans in general are very fickle, as Blake and I know. And when the team's not winning, I kind of pointed this out on social media. I was quite worried about the attendance. I believe it was announced as 19,000, I think just under 20K.
Damn.
Would be really surprised if that was the actual attendance because it was quite empty in there at kickoff. But like things like that are huge for like keeping fans engaged, getting fans back in into BC place, like exciting offensive games. Where I feel like in years past, I feel like they've had huge letdowns at homes at times when they've had good seasons, especially versus like the Winnipegs, sometimes versus East teams that come in as well. But I feel like I was kind of like excited actually to do the show last week because after the Ottawa loss in Ottawa, I kind of was like, this is it. I don't even really feel like they can cross over. Like this is kind of the end of the BC Lions. But now Winnipeg has kind of almost given them life. But in a sense, you have to also like take a step back. And I feel like for the games that they're going to win down the stretch, their defense will probably end up losing them 2 or 3 games down the stretch that they need to win. And ultimately, I don't know how much I trust them because, as Shane said, like Ottawa's offense wasn't really the problem. And we talked about it, as I said earlier, the 1 year too early or opposed to 1 year too late. And like, I had this conversation. I was able to sit beside JC Abbott in the press box and like had this conversation. Like, obviously they're bringing in the additions up front with Bell and Adai last game that they healthy scratch Kameka Ture. And then like they're bringing in TJ Lee, and like love TJ Lee, but like me and JC kind of like, he doesn't really like that signing doesn't really do much for me, like personally. Especially like he's been sitting the entire season. He didn't get signed for a reason. No, it's no offense to like the person that TJ Lee is, but it's actually also funny, hilarious that me being in attendance, I didn't even realize that, because Shane's super critical of him. I kind of like to joke, but Betts having 4 sacks is unbelievable. That the guy's been fucking like, I know I do defend him, but like invisible at times. Especially, I feel like it's tough like in the big moments where you do want him to like appear, where it's like, okay, I don't mind you go like, a quarter or two without being heard from, but the 4 sacks is a nice thing, but it's like that's ultimately just going to pad his season-ending stats, opposed to like him having a better, more productive year. But the defense just scares me at the end of the day. Like, I don't really know how much like beating Ottawa does for me in the grand scheme of things. I know it's great because we're tied with Winnipeg, but we're ultimately tied with Winnipeg because Winnipeg can't really get their shit together, if we're being quite honest. So it's like we're playing for third and likely going on the road to like see how we do against Calgary. It's going to be interesting.
That's just it. That's
What's
just it. Well, not to cut you off, but like this, I will fully admit this is in no way foreshadowing for my picks later. But if, and again, that's a big if the Lions can somehow sweep these 2 games in the next 3 weeks, they'd only be half a game back of Calgary for a potential home playoff game.
That's a big if, though, buddy.
No, I agree. Like I said, if, but
I think hoping for a split is like pretty realistic and pretty like attainable because of our offense and being able to like go toe to toe with Calgary, especially like Calgary defense is unbelievable, without question the best unit in the CFL, but like just lost flow, so hopefully that kind of maybe they take a step back there, at least for maybe the game or two they see BC. But like I just don't see BC realistically doing much outside of maybe third.
Wow. Shane, I got a question. What's BC's normal time of possession on offense?
Outside of yesterday's game?
Yeah, outside of just overall during the season.
Let me pull it up.
you like the Jeopardy music. Do, 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 do.
The reason why I ask is because you know that old saying, like the offense scores too fast and doesn't give the defense a chance to rest. Maybe there's some truth to that.
I think it might be the opposite, coach. I think we grind out drives, but I could be mistaken. I'm curious actually to know.
I'm curious to know, just if it's a
offensively, you're 7th at 29-21 per game.
Basically half the game.
Yeah.
So grinding it out. Okay.
For reference, though, what's first?
31-36.
So a little bit more than half the game.
That's crazy. That's how little the difference is.
Yeah. So Saskatchewan's first at 31-36, and Ottawa's second at 31-04.
Jeez. God damn.
So
that was all. That's. I mean, we could say the defense, man. I mean, let's just be real. The defense is not living up to the expectations. I mean, we went into the season talking about the defense, that it was going to be bend don't break for the defense, correct?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So we're not very surprising that already at this point in the season.
I think for Blake and I, we were probably hoping for like them to just like not fuck it up, like to basically like and like the if you go look at the numbers offensively, like we're pretty freaking good, and defensively we pissed down our leg multiple games, and it's like Me and Blake had this conversation in December of like,
Yep.
why in the hell did we bring back Mike Benavides again? Like, especially with the Ryan Phillips thing of like him kind of, in my opinion, somewhat almost getting the scapegoat of like, it's
Yeah.
you opposed to the players that you're trotting out there and like the guys that are like bringing the groceries home, not who's cooking them. Or like Ryan Phillips is a young, I feel like up and coming, hopefully like bigger minded or like a bigger named like the DC like maybe potential future head coach realm where now he's I feel like kind of in limbo right now with in BC and we'll see what I feel like opportunities open up for him outside of DC. I don't think there's a chance he comes back as a DC after this. Like I feel like that's just super weird to like take his job away, give it to Mike Vietnamese, and then bring him back. So I'd imagine he's gonna have to land an opportunity elsewhere to kind of prove himself outside of the organization, which is gonna be unfortunate. But it's just like I don't understand the retread of like Mike Benavides coming back again and like his defense didn't work. It was pretty clear and pretty obvious from almost jump.
It's the coaching cap. That's why Benavides is back.
Yeah,
Buck wanted an experienced coach on his staff. But the only way you can get an experienced coach on your staff is if you give him one of the coordinator jobs.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he's also like associate coach.
Yeah, but not always. It's
coach.
not. But it's not always. You could bring an experienced coach in. But at what point has the game passed you by, and you need to let a young buck like RP
5 years ago?
But you can't, because of the coaching cap. You can't have both of them in major roles. So because you want to have an experienced coach, you're forced to give him a DC role, even though he's probably better served as like a defensive assistant helping Phillips and the head coach, but you don't have the room to do that. So you're forced to put Benavides as DC, drop Phillips down, just so you have that experience in the locker room.
Yeah,
it was
just another reason to hate the coaching cap.
Yeah, like I hope
most teams also don't have a quarterback coach.
That's a rant for another day. I feel like the coaching cap's just ridiculous.
It is. It's the stupidest thing that was put into the league. It's because teams like, well, to be fair, it's teams like BC and Montreal who didn't want to spend the money on coaches, while teams like Winnipeg and Saskatchewan and Calgary were willing to doll out the pretty pennies to have a robust coaching staff.
Can we change that? I feel like Amar Doma would be willing to pay up now, so we gotta know where he's willing.
Hopefully, it gets changed. I think with new ownership in place, I think there's a strong desire now to get rid of the coaching cap.
Yeah.
We got an owner who's willing to pay. Let us free.
You have owners who are willing to pay.
Because
now you have an owner in Montreal who's willing to doll out the money. You have an owner in Edmonton who's willing to doll out the money. You have an owner. I think the big thing is that there still will be a coaching cap, but it will be more of a dead cap. How much can you? How does because I'm pretty sure in the CFL coaches still get paid even if they're signed to a new team. Like I'm pretty sure Chris Campbell, Rick Campbell is getting paid by BC.
BC, yeah.
While also being paid by Ottawa. So I think what's going to end up happening is that you're going to probably find the way of like the NHL where you're going to get paid, but if you get a new job, that payment stops. And that's how you're going to get around the coaching cap.
Interesting.
At least that's how I think will be one of the solutions to the get rid of the coaching cap, get rid of the amount of coaches you can have, plus because that's the big one, and then the money, and then there'll be extra things of like, you get fired, you'll get paid out, but if you get a new job, we're done paying you. But just to put it in perspective, the BC one before we move on to Saturday's games. BC is second last in opponent touchdown drives at 22%. So 22% of opponents' drives end in a touchdown. But on
They take a quarter of the time.
They're first in 22.5% of their offensive drives end in a touchdown. It's like you can't really win many games when you're basically breaking even, or just breaking even.
Exactly.
Our offense scores points, but our defense can't stop them.
Gives up points.
It's the exact same. But yeah, let's move on to Saturday's games. We have the first game on Saturday, which was the Edmonton-Toronto game, which had some fireworks at the end of the game and from the winning bench. I don't think I've seen a coach react that way in the CFL towards a specific player.
Supposedly, that's what he said.
You guys gotta fill me in here. I'm definitely in the dark right now.
Me too. I'm lost.
Okay, so at the end of the game, Toronto kicks the game-winning field goal, and Dinwiddie basically starts barking at the Edmonton bench and basically telling
he
them
also made some sort of kicking motion.
I made a kicking motion, and apparently, reportedly, it was directed to former Argonaut and current Elks defensive lineman Jordan Williams, who Dinwiddie labeled as a pretender before cutting him. And apparently Williams was talking a bunch of trash on the sidelines to them. And apparently one of the other coaches for Edmonton also was talking trash, and that's how Dinwiddie responded when they won the game.
Yeah, according to Dinwiddie, this all started in the pregame warm-ups.
Yeah.
Where there was if I remember correctly, there was the potential, I guess, maybe you can call it, for a scuffle. Nothing ever amounted out of the pregame warm-ups, but it obviously boiled over into the end of game stuff. I have two thoughts on this. Well, actually, 2.5, I'll say. One, this is why the benches should not be on the same side. Put them on opposite sides. Just get it done, get it over with. The winning team goes to their locker room, the losing team goes to their locker room. It's pretty flippin' simple as far as I'm concerned. Two, is with the way he's acted this year, is Ryan Dinwiddie the most hated coach in the CFL this year?
Yes.
And three, I'll say this as my 2.5 point. As a coach, you should, and Coach Phil can attest to this. Cole, I know you haven't really dipped your toes into these waters yet. I have a bit, less than Coach Phil, but still a little bit into the coaching waters. As a coach, you should never act like that. Your first thought should be get off the field. You just won the game and just go to the locker room. I don't really care if someone was trash talking to you all game. You just won the game. And that's a big win for the Argonauts. At the time, they didn't know it because, of course, Montreal won later in the day. But that, at the time, tied them for second in the East. Get off the field, get back to work for what is now amounted to a huge game this upcoming Friday.
See, I gotta disagree on that. It's to a certain extent. I mean, his tactics seems to have worked. I mean, you can't really sit here and hit on a guy who's won 2 Grey Cups in 3 years. And I think honestly, there are more people. If his style of coaching has been successful, sure, you probably want a coach to kind of keep his cool on the sideline. But at the same time, we know full well the players were hyped for it. Yeah. At least personally, whenever I played and my coach was calm, cool, collected, there was a time and a place to lose your to show emotion. And I find that if you don't show your emotion in the right time or place, that's where you can start getting some issues. I think Dinwiddie was standing up for his guys in this situation. And I think, the guys, he still has that locker room. Clearly the guys in the locker room still believe that he can lead them to another Grey Cup, that they can still find success this year. I think it's a situation of you hate him because he's not your coach. Very much like Mark Trestman, in my opinion. You hated him because he isn't your coach, but you would love him on your sideline. Personally, if Toronto ever moved on from Dinwiddie, he would have I think every team in the league would look at signing him.
Yeah, maybe. Coach,
Yeah,
Coach, you answered yes. What are your thoughts on it? Sorry, Cole.
Nah, Cole, go ahead. I'll go last.
I tend to agree a little bit more with Shane to also a certain extent. Maybe not like ideally for how you want your head coach to maybe handle a situation like that. That being said, as Shane did, absolutely the boys were fired up after that one to see the coach kind of, stick it to the other guy a little bit, especially if he was talking shit pregame. Now, I also feel like I'm a little bit in the dark because I haven't watched this yet, or I haven't even rewatched the game, so I don't know to the full extent like what he did also.
I'm going to see if I can find a video of it and pull it up.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But at the same time, like that isn't probably ideal for the way you want your head coach to maybe handle that situation. And I do agree with Shane that like coming into the season, I was a pretty big fan of Dinwiddie. The multiple like occasions now maybe like giving me like a slight bad taste in my mouth a little bit more in terms of like just like the weird like post game comments and stuff like that. And that being said, at the time he is trying to get something out of his team, right? Maybe for whatever opinions you do have, like he could have gone about it the other like some other ways, but like Shane said, like his resume does back up that what he's built in Toronto has worked. And the winning percentage as well. I know I talked about it with I don't know why I'm blanking right now on
You're tired.
the
That's
guy that
why.
does the post game stuff for the Argos that works for 3Down.
Ron Hodge?
No. Ben Grant. I talked about it with Ben Grant when we did like the season wrap ups last year, and he spoke about Dinwiddie in terms of like being regarded as one of the best coaches in franchise history already for what he's already done at, I believe it's only, is it 3 or 4 seasons, Shane?
This is his 4th year.
Because as I said, win percentage coming to this, he was already, I believe, top 3 in Argos franchise history, the 2 Grey Cups already, the circumstances he won the Grey Cup. So it's like the saying of like, be who you can afford to be. I feel like to a sense he has earned that right to maybe step over the line once or twice, which I feel like he has done maybe to a sense. But at the same time, like in that locker room, absolutely this team rallies around him. You could tell that once he gets fired up that they believe in him. And as Shane said too, right? Like I feel like outside of the fan base, you would probably hate him if you were not an Argos fan, opposed to like being an Argos fan. I would be curious to know how they feel. I know Blake, you kind of talk to Argos fans a little bit more, but Coach, do you want to chime in a little bit and just?
Yeah. Well, first I would say if you ain't in that locker room, fuck you. That would be my mentality. And I agree with Shane. I agree with Blake. There's truths to both ways of thinking it. But if you in that locker room and you love what your coach is doing and it ain't turning off guys, pause, then fuck it. I know you love that one, Cole. I know. Uh but hey, if you gonna talk shit, fuck. I'm gonna talk shit. We won the game. It put us in second place temporarily. I'm gonna talk my shit, and it is what it is. Now, it never should be player, the coach to player. Like you should never really. That's kind of an unwritten rule. Don't do that to my player. Do that to me as another coach. If he would have done it to Stevens, I'd understand. All right, but don't let the shit talking be with the players. You just if you want to do some fuck them, da 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 da, woo woo, we the best type shit. Okay, do that to the fans, but not coach the player. That's where I'm kind of like, maybe you did kind of cross the line a little bit, but yeah, I have to see the video to really get a better understand of what he did.
Yeah, I think I got it. Just give me a couple minutes, and I will see if I can upload it.
Yeah, like it's overall, it was a huge win for the Argos. Like they overcame, pardon me, bad Nick Arbuckle. Like he threw, what was it, three picks in total, 4 picks in total.
Nick Arbuckle's my MOP. Fuck is you talking about?
Hey, like before last week, like he was arguably the MLP, but he had a bad game last week. He of course got injured late in the game. He wasn't even the quarterback. It was Jared Daggy for that game-winning drive. So the Argos overcame a lot, and they just like that's a big win for them. Like they're fighting like BC, like Winnipeg, like to a lesser extent
Shane,
Ottawa and Edmonton.
Hey,
They're fighting for those last couple of playoff spots.
but you gotta give credit to Dinwiddie for getting it done without his main quarterback, with his backup, and then with Daggy. That's amazing. That's a hell of a coach right there, and that's a testament to his ability to get the best out of his players.
yeah. Shane, did you get the video? I have it. After watching it, I kind of laughed because he's kind of like a corny old white dude the way he kicks, or maybe kind of like an older white dude where you can't really get it up too high. But pause.
Yeah, I have it.
Let me see.
I'll post it up.
Shane can share it. Shane can share it. It's pretty funny though, especially with his glasses. Oh man, that cracked me up.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Okay, here. Oh, we got something new. Let's get it.
The Argos walk it off with Jared Daggy playing savior. And Ryan Dinwiddie goes for a wander.
What you doing?
Right for the...
So yeah, that's it.
Dude,
I mean, that one didn't even really, unless I missed it.
Here,
No,
that
no,
one didn't
no.
even
The TSN feed doesn't
He
really show
wants
the
all
kick.
smoke. He wants all smoke with the Elks.
Yeah, look at this
funny.
one. This one cracks me up, man. The kick right here.
Show me.
Yeah, see that? They don't show the replay. There we go. That's it.
What is wrong with this man?
Hey man, whatever works.
Hey, whatever works to win a game. I ain't mad at it. Go ahead, Dinwiddie.
Oh yeah.
And
no,
shout out,
You didn't want me
shout out,
kicking.
shout out to CFL Classics, uploading the whole games.
Yes, sir. He's
Yes,
a
sir.
blessings.
But should we?
YouTube,
I know Coach wants
parts
to.
of the video.
Yep. I know Coach wants to skip it, but should we still talk about the last game of the week?
Typical Trevor Harris experience. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, like it was
Typical
like
Trevor Harris experience.
I would like not for the whole season. Obviously, Saskatchewan is still the best team in the CFL, but like for this week alone, I would argue that like it mirrored the BC and Ottawa game because like Saskatchewan's offense was not the problem. Like a lot of the time they were matching Montreal's touchdown for touchdown. Their defense just couldn't get off the field. Like to have MBT come back and throw for 48 points, like that shows me two things. Like one, that Montreal is down that bad where they had to physically bring MBT off the 6-game list because they did not trust anyone else to be their quarterback. And two, like the Saskatchewan defense, it goes without saying, but they very, very clearly had a bad day.
So I'm just gonna say the whole couldn't get off the field. Saskatchewan actually led in time of possession that game. The problem comes down to McLeod Bethel Thompson having 3 touchdowns, 379 yards on only 20 out of 26. Philpott had
our boy
232
Cole Tyson Philpott
yards.
went off.
9 for
Yeah,
9, 238 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had only 89 yards after the catch and a long of 77.
Yeah, he had over 200 yards, wasn't it? 209 or
238
238.
on
How
9
many did
for 9.
MBT throw?
379 for 20 out of 29. Stevie Scott had 19 carries for 125 yards.
Yeah, because Tice is hurt.
So,
Coach, you want to go?
I got nothing to say, man. I've been saying it all season. We got to get punched in the mouth at some point in time. We can't buy into what the media says and say, oh, we're the best team, we're the best team. No, you got to still go do that shit. The defense did lay an egg. It is what it is. Motherfuckers got their shit rocked. And how they respond down the stretch, as we've said before, post Labor Day, is what I care about. How are you going to respond after getting your shit pushed in? Pause. Fuck you, Cole.
no, if you didn't say pause, it wouldn't be a problem. It's the fact that you say pause after it.
Because
You're the one who makes it bad. No one else is thinking it.
That's
I
the
don't
best
give a
part,
shit.
though.
I'm gonna still say pause because I know Cole gonna laugh. But nah, man, the defense laid a fucking egg, and it's not normal for them to lay it. All season it's been kind of shaky from what it was last year. So now the defense has to respond better. They gotta create some turnovers, man. They've got to. It was their trademark last season. This season they have to find a new way to create turnovers. That's
I
just
would also, sorry, Cole, before you go, I would also wonder if this is a case of the Riders looking ahead. Like, because they're on bye this week, and the Riders, like, it's no secret, like, in and out of Regina, like, they got arguably I don't even think you can argue, they got the best schedule in the CFL because they went the first 5 weeks by first, second 5 weeks by third 5 weeks by, and then if all goes according to plan, they're gonna get a bye before the West Final for them. So maybe this is a case of, they're looking at a Montreal team that's 1-7 without without Davis Alexander. Arguably could have been 0-8 if Vernon Adams didn't get hurt in that Calgary game. Like, they're looking ahead to the bye to being with their family, and I know they had injuries as well, but that was like the talk out of Regina that I saw from a couple people is like part of the reason why some of the players that sat out is because they're dinged up, but also you have the bye coming up, so you're basically giving them almost 3 full weeks between game action to get right before they play again.
Yeah, not a bad thought, Blake. I tend to believe a little bit of you're also gonna have a few of these games throughout an 18-game season. The Riders just defensively didn't show up as you guys talked about. Offensively, it seems like they did show up. Outside of just the CFL highlights, I wasn't able to watch either of the games on Saturday as I was actually in Vancouver trying to waste a ton of time until the VI Raiders and Langley Rams game at 4. So, yeah, other than, like I said, watching the quick little highlights from these two games, I really didn't get to see much. It was very cool to see after the game, as well as very pissed that I missed it. Tyson come back, and I believe it's been back in the lineup 2 weeks, I believe, maybe longer than that. But cool to see him get back on track. It's shitty. I feel like we all had super high expectations for him again this year, and it's unfortunate that him and his brother really can't stay healthy. Jalen has done a better job this year of staying healthy, but even he has kind of battled injuries at times this year as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say he ended up on the Stampeders injury report today, but
yeah. What was he?
he was
like
limited, and he's now
okay.
listed as questionable for Friday night.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, man, that those two guys are super talented, but in terms of an 18-game season, it's shitty that I feel like what they could do in an 18-game season, maybe Tyson more specifically, of these games, the glimpses we see from Tyson of what he could do in a full season, is unfortunate. That who knows if we're gonna see that anytime soon. Just he is also like a little bit of a smaller statured receiver. Like his body isn't that big, and you're playing professional ball, so you're gonna get got out there, man, and it's unfortunate, but it's cool to see him. I believe he had, what was it, 9 receptions for 238, Shane, and 2 tuds, I believe.
Yeah. He was 9 for 9, 100% on his receptions, and then put up 238 yards.
Yeah,
I believe that's not the biggest game, right? Kenny Lawler had a bigger game this year. No, who's had the biggest receiving game this year in terms of yards? Anybody remember off the top of their head?
I
Lawler's
think
might
it
have
was
been
Lawler
a
at like
couple.
260 or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought it was like even
I think it was
270.
actually closer than that, but I believe Lawler was a few yards ahead of Philpott.
But yeah, crazy because like I said, I was in Vancouver watching the Raiders Langley game, and then after that one finished up and seeing the box scores, I was actually chatting with a dude, and I didn't see that MBT was starting. So I was like, oh man, like why are you checking this game? Like the Riders Riders probably killed them. And then we checked the box score, and I was like, oh, MBT played? Like what the? Where have I been? So it was very interesting.
Yeah, but shout out to Siakam, Siakam Seahawks, where Tyson and Jalen graduated from. But go ahead, Shane.
Tyson now is the highest receiving total game so far.
So what did Lawler
This
have?
season?
Was it a few yards less?
It doesn't show me. Give me 1 sec.
I think Kenny Lawler had 290 versus us a few years ago. I think that's what I'm thinking of. And by us, I'm talking about us, Blake.
Yeah, like the Lions. Yeah, I got what you meant.
207.
Okay, so
Crazy.
Tyson actually had like 30 more yards.
Yeah.
Oh.
Keandre Smith still has the best receiving game in terms of receptions with 14.
Yeah, that was the game against the Lions where he had like 14 for 202 tutties. But yeah, no, like we said at the beginning of the show, like overall an entertaining week. Some surprises. I know that I didn't really gain any ground from Cole, but I gained games from you and the coach there, Shane, because you guys picked Ottawa and Edmonton, both of you, I believe.
Yep.
So
we all picked Saskatchewan and Hamilton.
So Cole and I went 3-1, and you guys went 1-3 this week.
Fuck you, Blake.
Still on top. That's all that matters. You said the
Before we
fall was
jump
gonna
into
happen.
it-
I'm still waiting.
There's still
It's gonna
weeks
happen
to
at the
go.
worst time, Blake.
You're running out of time.
Should we quickly recap the U Sports and CJFL before we get into this week's picks?
Yeah, let's jump into it. So U Sports week 4 and the
Start with the AUS. Get that out of the way.
Yeah, AUS, OUA, and RSCQ was week 4, and Canada West was week 3. AUS Acadia beats Mount Allison 21-11 to get their first win of the year and bounces Mount Allison down to 0-4 heading into their bye week. And Bishops beat St. FX 29-3 to give St. FX their first loss of the year, as both teams are now 2-1.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a surprise in the AUS.
It was a very big surprise. RSCQ Montreal beats Laval 38-28. Freshman rookie quarterback for Montreal put up monster numbers. He is the favorite. I think he's put up 11 touchdowns through 3 games so far this year. He's putting up massive numbers. It's like Pepe. I wrote down his name before the show. Pepe Gonzalez, freshman quarterback, just pumping.
And sorry, Shane.
Is he of Mexican descent? Just out of
Pepe
curiosity.
Gonzalez, you said, Shane?
Yeah, Pepe Gonzalez.
What a name. All name team right there for sure.
So a Mexican QB that went to the University of Montreal where they speak French.
I think he has dual citizenship.
Oh no, I believe that. Like, I don't think he came straight from Mexico. I just find it funny that like you went from literally quite literally one end of the continent to about as far away as you can get.
I love that.
But let me see if I can find. U Sports doesn't make anything interesting. I hate the U Sports website. If you guys haven't tried using it during games, horrendous.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
I can
So
tell
bad.
Shane's triggered.
Dog.
What, Shane, what about the app? Or what
the
about
games?
The
And
app just
teams-
sends you to the website, Cole. It doesn't actually update the games.
and you see this teams updating. It's the third quarter, but on the website it's showing it's like 10 minutes into the first quarter, and it's like 3-0. But on their live tweeting it, it's like almost the end of the third quarter, and you're like, what the hell is going on?
Don't get us, me and
Like
Shane started.
so.
But there was another game in the RSEQ too, was there not?
There was. So Sherbrooke beats Concordia 26-13. Sherbrooke gets their first win of the year. Concordia is now 1-2, and so is Sherbrooke. And then
McGill was on their bye.
McGill was on their bye. They're like 1-2. So Montreal is now number one in the RSEQ, yet still behind Laval in the power rankings. OUA saw Laurier beat Waterloo 41-19 in Waterloo, even though Laurier was the home team due to construction on their home stadium. Ottawa beats Guelph in a tight game. Donald Brashear's kid had a hell of a game, including the game-sealing interception.
For who? For the GGs or for who? Sorry. Crazy.
Yeah. Western beats up on Carleton 63-26. Queens beats up on Toronto 44-6. Windsor beats McMaster 29-13. So Western and Laurier are both 4-0. Western is heading into their bye week this week. Queens gets a much needed win over Toronto to improve to 2-0, and Ottawa improves to 3-0, and those are your top 4 teams in the OUA as of right now. And Canada West
Queens is 2-2 right now, right?
Yeah.
You said 2-0. Yeah, so 2-2, not.
Yeah, 2-2. Their 2 losses came to Western and Laurier.
Yeah. But yeah, Canada West was I was disappointed by Canada West this week, especially
the
our
chaos,
hometown team in the UBC.
Yeah, Calgary beats Alberta 23-19. That was a hell of a game.
Manitoba won too, man.
52 seconds left.
No,
Calgary
it was
Alberta.
it was a 52-yard field goal, wasn't it? Something like that.
I have to say, I hate that Manitoba lost their decals, the Bison decal, and they put an M decal. I don't know about if that's a hot take or not. I really don't like it.
I thought that was just because of the rebrand. I thought that was they were still waiting on the new
they
logo.
are rebranding. They are rebranding to that other Bison logo, but I even don't even like I don't mind it, but I just
like the old one.
You don't like the old one? I maybe it's just nostalgia or something like that.
I don't like the new one.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. It's just like, why rebrand? If it's not broke, don't fix it, man. Just
who else rebrand is horrible. The jersey, like their black jersey, can't even see the name, see the number on the back of the jersey because it's a dark red on a black jersey with like a faint yellow outline. Can't tell what number you're looking at all from the TV or the broadcast booth. It's horrible.
And I know we didn't talk about it yet, but I believe the final, it was Regina and UBC, and it was like 44-17 or something.
37-20 for Regina. They improved to 3-0 and are on top of the Can West, with Manitoba beating Saskatchewan 21-20 after running off like 21 straight points.
So Regina's 3-0, Saskatchewan's 2-1, and then I believe there's now 3 teams at 1-2, or is there 4? Are the other 4 all 1-2?
Alberta's 0-3. Everyone else is 1-2.
So UBC, Calgary, and Manitoba.
Calgary's 2-1. I think I have the standing somewhere.
Shane, forgive me The Vanier Cup's being played in Regina too this year,
It is,
correct?
yeah.
Yeah, so super cool. I mean, Regina. Why I remember that is because talking with offensive coordinator Josh Donnelly last year, he was kind of almost mentioning like their recruiting process a season ago was almost aimed at why they were so heavily into the junior ranks was like recruiting those veteran guys for like obviously they won on the run they did last year and they were one game away from winning it all of like really going all in for this year and they're kind of being able to back it up on the field. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they can, last all season. We saw it last year with Manitoba and like the run that they went on of like the Dobie farewell tour all throughout the regular season. They look hot and then they're out in the first round from Regina. So it's like the Canada West #1 is just unbelievable, man. If you don't watch Canada West, I know I'm super biased because the other conferences are great, but like on any given week, 1 through 6 you get beaten, and it's just chaos. Number
Yeah,
one,
that's just it. Like the Canada West literally proves the old saying, like anyone can beat anyone on
anyone, yeah.
any given Saturday. Like
To be
It,
fair,
Alberta,
Canada needs to go to like across Canada games. Like it just
that'd be
I
sick.
agree.
AUS and
Interconference,
ICQ, like just playing each other. Like you're 10 teams
yeah,
between the two conferences. Just play each other. Just
I
mix it up.
agree.
Play each other.
Well, you don't even have to fly if it's the RESQ and the
No, you can bus.
AUS. Like you can bus, but
Uh,
CJFL quickly before we go to the picks.
yeah, if you guys stopped interrupting me, I'd be able to. But yeah, CGFL scores. BCFC, wild weekend there. Apparently, they don't know what OT is. The VI Raiders and Langley Rams tie at 29-29. The Valley Huskers and Prince George Kodiaks tie 35-35. And the Okanagan Sun beat the West Shore Rebels 37-24 and clinch first in the BCFC with the win. Why don't you guys have ties? Like, why don't you guys have overtime? What is this tie BS? Like, why can't you guys play like
I know
a 10
Cole
minute
knows the
OT?
answer, but I know the answer as well. And the simplest explanation is which it doesn't like it means nothing for the Prince George and Valley game because you bust there. But in regards to the Raiders and Rams game, it's the ferry schedule. Simple as that. Like it's unfortunate and I hate it. Like I fully admit I hate it as well. But like after hearing the explanation, that is the only reason. And I even said to Cole like before we hit record, like I don't know why you can't do like a CFL style, even if you cut it in half. Just play one series, each team from the 30. If it's tied after that, then it ends in a tie. But that's the simplest explanation as to why.
Yeah, pretty much what Blake said. I actually also have experience, unfortunately, playing in a tie. Not, I know Blake said with like the PG Valley game, it wouldn't have played wouldn't have played into it. But obviously, you can't allow one game to do it because then it kind of gets all muddy. I went up to play Kelowna in my second year with VI, and we played to a tie, but we were already staying the night up in Kelowna, so like we had the hotel already, but couldn't play into overtime because of the rule already being in place of no overtime and teams having to get home. It also happened in Victoria a few years ago, not with VI, but West Shore and I want to say it was like Kamloops or something like that played to a tie. Same thing because Kamloops has to get to the ferry and get home due to teams not wanting to stay at hotels or whatever. And it's crazy too because like this time more specifically, where like most times in the past it kind of really doesn't play too much into like things. We're like now two ties in the same weekend to all four teams that were like basically aren't secured in playoff spots. It's like it just throws an even bigger kink into things going down the stretch. And these two teams, or excuse me, these four teams all play each other to end the regular season. So Langley VI end the regular season, and PG and Valley end the regular season against each other as well. So it's going to be super interesting to see how things shake up from there.
Yeah, you mentioned, Shane, that Okanagan clinched first. West Shore is pretty much, I don't think they've officially clinched yet, but they're pretty much locked into second. Even with the tie, not a win, Prince George is pretty much locked into third, and it comes down to VI Valley and Langley for that final playoff spot. And as much as it pains me to say, as my Rams hat is here somewhere, but like the Rams definitely have the harder road than VI and Valley because they finished the season not only with 3 straight road games, but starting this Saturday is against Okanagan. Next Saturday is against West Shore. Pardon me, I'll get it right eventually. And then the final Saturday, the regular season, is against VI.
And VI pretty much controls their own destiny. They host West Shore this week. They go to Valley the week after that, which will obviously be a huge game between those two teams because at that point it's likely that Langley's pretty much out if they lose to West Shore this weekend. Obviously, there'd be a little bit of hope if both Valley and VI lose, but it's likely that Valley wins because they're playing Kamloops. So Valley likely gets their 3rd win, takes that 4th seed for the week. Then VI and Valley play next week, kind of for that 4th spot, and then it would be the 10th week of the regular, or excuse me, 12th week of the regular season where it could come down to that Valley and PG game, and then VI having to handle business versus Langley, even though
There
Langley
is
would be out.
technically, I believe I did some weird math where there's also technically a scenario where there could be a 3-way tie for that
Yeah,
4th and final playoff spot.
which it
Yeah,
goes
and I
to
mean,
head to
Valley
head.
also
It goes
Valley can
head to
also
head,
get
and then it goes points against in the tiebreakers from there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which VI is in the lead currently. With head to head, obviously doesn't really come into play with 3-way ties, so it'll go to points against. VI's, I think, 177. Langley was at 211, and Valley was at 192, I believe, for
Yeah.
this recording.
But in the PFC, I know Saskatoon won again, Regina won again. The only game I don't know was the Edmonton game, Shane.
Yeah, so Regina beat Winnipeg 25-12. The Edmonton Wildcats beat the Edmonton Huskies 33-20, and then the Saskatoon Hilltops beat the Calgary Colts 51-3.
God damn.
So
Yeah, the
how we
Hilltops are back, coach.
with 3 weeks left in the season, St. Clair, London, and Hamilton could lock in their playoff spots with a win this weekend. The Sooners look to keep their playoff hopes alive with a win with Hamilton this weekend. They play against Sault Ste. Marie next week, and if a win against Hamilton would put them in a game behind, and they haven't played each other yet. So if they were to win and end up tied at 3-4 heading into the last week of the season, they could end up in a situation where they're ahead of the Sioux and can get into that 4th spot. West Shore can lock up 2nd this week with a win over VI. Prince George can get help securing 3rd in the division with Okanagan and West Shore winning over Langley and VI. They would still need to win next week. And then Saskatoon and Regina can secure their playoff spots with a win at 1st and 2nd. And then the Calgary Colts play the Huskies in back-to-back weeks, while the Rifles and the Wildcats go head-to-head in Week 8 next week. So Calgary has a chance to take over 3rd in the PFC, while Winnipeg and the Edmonton Wildcats battle for 4th in the PFC playoffs, with only 3 weeks left to go in the season. So that is your CJFL roundup and your U Sports roundup. Let's jump right into picks. And as we mentioned, Blake is now in the lead. He's 2 games up on Cole still. 30-21 is your record. Cole is 34-24. I am 30-28, and Coach is 29-29.
500. It's not bad.
Fuck you, Blake.
Yeah, that little smirk. I was gonna say that was such a backhanded compliment.
Both Coach and I have coming off bad back-to-back weeks. I've 1-7 in the last 2. Coach is 2-6. Both Blake and Cole are 5-3 the last 2 weeks.
Not bad.
So head into week 16 of 21. We'll start off with the first game of the week. Pull up the schedule again. I lost that. The Montreal Alouettes heading into Toronto against the Argonauts. Who wants to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. I'll go with the Alouettes in this game. I have no faith in this game. Like this is most like Davis Alexander was ruled out again today. Travis Tice, one of the running backs, was ruled out. I want to say now please correct me if I'm wrong on this, Shane, but like after coming off his monster game, I want to say Philpott was either limited or ruled out. I know Jalen was, but I thought I saw Tyson on the injury report as well.
He is not
But
on the official one, not on the
okay,
CFL website at least.
okay, then I got that wrong. I
only-
thought I saw him, but I'm probably thinking of Jalen. But yeah, it's just like the Alouettes are probably, like I said, Davis Alexander has been ruled out again, which is unfortunate because this is clearly longer than a 6-week injury, like they had originally hoped. So they're most likely going to start MBT again, but the Argos are going to go with Jared Daggy. Like, no disrespect to Jared Daggy. I know he led the game winning drive last week, but that was also one drive. Like, prove to me that you can do it for an entire game. And I just don't trust that he can. We've seen what's happened time and time again this year when you get to a second, third, even fourth string quarterback, which I guess technically he is, even though Chad Kelly hasn't played all year. Like, so I don't trust him as the third string guy. And for that reason alone, I'm gonna pick the Alouettes.
I guess I will go next. I will take the Alouettes too, pretty much for the same reason as it pains me to take the same. I'm gonna have to start picking wisely now with Blake 2 games ahead of me here, and we can't agree on all of them. But this one I kind of tend to agree. Like I can't really put my faith in Toronto with Jared Daggy starting, but also like Montreal has also been, I feel like, unreliable without Davis Alexander in their center. So it's a tough one, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go with MBT and the Alouettes they give me a little bit more confidence than the Argos do with Jared Daggy.
Yeah, it's not that I trust MBT in making my pick. If anything, I think Montreal's defense is better than Toronto's.
I'm gonna go with Montreal. I think I agree their defense is going to be more of a game changer in this matchup with Daggy at quarterback for Toronto. I just don't think Daggy's going to be able to get the ball to the receivers the way, even though Nick is shaky at times, I think Daggy's going to be way worse. So I'm going to go with Montreal.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with Montreal. I just don't trust Daggy. I'll take MBT and that defense in Montreal over realistically a third, even fourth string short yardage quarterback. We've seen how those usually play out. So we got a clean sweep in Montreal. Game 2 on this week is another Friday night game. Is BC in Calgary. Blake, you want to go first, or do you want Cole to go first?
No, I'll go first on this one. Before I pick this game, though, I'll say the CFL schedule makers really screwed this one up, and I know why they did what they did because the game's in Calgary, it's not in BC. But like realistically, what difference does that half an hour make? Like, what difference does it make if the game starts at 8 Mountain or 7:30 Mountain time? Like, I don't know why they put that game at 6:30 and not 7 Pacific. Um, but like, I'm gonna go with Calgary. Like, everyone knows by now that I'm like Cole, a diehard BC Lions fan. The offense is gonna put up their points. We talked about it earlier. 6 straight games over 30 points. I just don't trust the defense. Like, I know that at times you can get good VA and bad VA, but this year we've seen a lot more good VA than bad VA. and he's going to be hyped to play in this game. Like everything that's going on, it's against his former team. I know it's not in BC Place yet, but it's against his former team. The Stampeders are still fighting for first in the West. The door has been open just a little bit because coming off their loss to Edmonton, it looked like it was going to be completely slammed shut. But then after Saskatchewan's loss to the Alouettes, if the Stampeders get a win this week, they're all of a sudden a game back of first place once again. And as I said at the beginning of the pick, I don't trust the defense to make enough plays to get the win. So I'm going to go with the Stamps.
I'm
Cool.
gonna go.
Go ahead, Coach.
I'm gonna take a gamble here. I'm gonna take a huge gamble. I'm gonna go with BC. I got this weird feeling that Benavidez's defense is gonna step up against Vernon because they know Vernon, and they can make Vernon do things to make him uncomfortable in the pocket. So I'm gonna trust it. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna gamble. We're gonna go with BC.
Interesting.
Cool.
Shane?
Go for it. No, you.
Not gonna lie, coming to this one, I was hoping Blake was gonna give me a layup and a root with his heart here and go BC. So that I could have an easy Calgary pick here, because obviously when talking teams, Calgary's much better. Where I kind of came into this one though of going opposite of Blake, obviously with our picks and kind of needing to go opposite at times here between him, was okay, I feel like the offense could do enough to keep them in the game where it came down to maybe last possession. Now where it changed is that throughout the week, obviously injury reports come out, all that good stuff.
I didn't even mention that.
Yeah, the BC Lions are going to be without James Butler, I believe. It appears
not confirmed, but
it's pretty
he's
much
questionable. Hasn't practiced all
yeah.
week. Neither is Katoy, and neither has Jarrell Broxton practiced on Monday. According to Farhan Lalji, got injured the first series basically of practice and hasn't practiced since.
And then TJ Lee is also into the starting lineup, which also gives me a little bit of why so early did we just roll the red carpet? I know we're that desperate, but man, this just everything that wanted to talk me into going with BC due to just any glimmer of hope. It's kind of all the signs are almost just pointing against it, and it just feels like this is Calgary's time. So I'm going to go with Calgary. I do kind of somewhat agree with Coach's thought process of BC making it a little bit harder for him because they know him and stuff like that. I kind of picture VA having even a bigger game in BC Place, as much as that's going to probably hurt BC Lions fans even more to see it up close and personal. Where I think VA, as I think Blake and I probably know a little bit more, usually as I do agree with Blake of he's had a phenomenal season. Usually he tends to have those games when he gets a little bit jacked up. He's a little bit juiced. He can't really I feel get in that zen state that he's usually in when he's throwing the ball around. So I feel I expect VA to be a little bit jacked up for this game, and I feel keep it somewhat close, but I think Calgary's just too good on both sides of the football to go against them.
Shane?
Was that your pick for Calgary?
Well, considering I said I'm going with Calgary, yeah.
I didn't hear that part. Must have cut out. I just heard you talking about VA being jacked up, and then I think he heard you say he's going to have a good game, and that was it. I'm also going to go Calgary, though. I don't trust this BC defense. I bet against Calgary one too many times this year to bet against them here.
That's the only thing that gives me. I'm not changing my pick, but that's the only thing that gives me pause with Calgary. It seems like every time I pick Calgary, they do me dirty, and then when I don't pick Calgary, they also do me dirty. But
all right, first Saturday game, the Saturday afternoon 3:00 game on CTV. Winnipeg in Ottawa.
Oh.
This one's tough because Drew Brown it sounds like Drew Brown he's been a full participant in practice this week. It sounds like he is projecting to start. And again, I don't trust Strudler. I'm gonna go with that Ottawa here, but I think this game could be a straight up just toss up of two bad teams. I think Ottawa's gonna come in a little desperate. They're at home. It's an afternoon game. You know, Winnipeg's gonna come in a little desperate, but I don't know. I think I take Drew Brown over Strevler head to head. I think this is a game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but I think this is a game where Ottawa should be able to redeem themselves after last week's performance.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Ottawa as well. I just like Colaros, and he's the X factor because he's been limited, hasn't really been practicing much. I don't expect him to play, but if somehow he does, that would change the pick a little bit. But if it is in fact Strevler against Drew Brown, I 100% agree with Shane that I trust Drew Brown a lot more than I trust Chris Strevler with or without Brady Oliveira. Like Oliveira can only do so much.
I also
So
trust Crum more than I trust Strevler.
yeah, exactly. So it's like that's why. But
Like Crum, we talked about El Gersma earlier in the show. There's a good chance that Crum is in Winnipeg next year.
potential.
Like, there's no guarantee El Gersma signs. He's only 23. He could look for more of an NFL opportunity before making the move up here. I would not be shocked if Crum is donning the Bombers W next year, given how he's played with Brown's injury.
Yeah.
Cool.
Coach?
I'm going with Ottawa. I'm going to trust him one more time. Roll the dice on that motherfucker.
Well,
are you going to go Winnipeg just so you can try to gain him game on Blake?
I'm tempted for sure. I just don't know. Like, I also don't really enjoy Ottawa. Drew Brown's been a full participant all week.
He's been a full participant all week, according to the injury report.
They still have one more day because the game's not till Saturday. But
And what's the next game, sorry, Shane?
Edmonton Hamilton.
I'll go with Ottawa as well, I guess.
All right, clean sweep of Ottawa. Hopefully they don't let us down.
they probably will. But
Probably.
so
yeah, the late game, 7:30 start in Hamilton. You got the Elks going against the Tiger Cats.
I got the
I'm gonna go Hamilton here. I don't think Fajardo's that guy. Hamilton seems to be rolling. They have a chance to put themselves in a very good spot to win the East with a win. They're at home in front of, I think it's expected to be a sold out crowd on Saturday night, is what I was seeing online. So I'm going to go with Edmonton or Hamilton here.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Hamilton on this one. I think Bo's gonna attack that secondary. He's gonna put that secondary on blast very early.
yeah, I think that Hamilton. I mean, I know we talked earlier in the show that they played down to their level. I would argue that like I don't think like since like week 9, week 10 when Fajardo came in, he's been like he's obviously been a better quarterback than Trey Ford was earlier in the year, as proven by the results. And even the games that Edmonton lost, I wouldn't say are his fault, but I just don't trust them enough to get like it might be like a game like last week for Hamilton where like they come out to a big lead, they kind of play with their food a little bit till the end of the game. By the end of the game you look up, maybe they won by 8 or 10 or something like that, but they were never truly in danger of losing the game.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make it boring. Unfortunately, I have Hamilton too. Edmonton just I will never forgive Edmonton. Edmonton, I guess, will be like Mike or Blake's Calgary of like every time I pick Edmonton, they just do not back it up. Every time I talk highly of Edmonton, they just go the opposite way. So until they either leap BC and Winnipeg and they start to like really impress, I feel like I just can't trust Edmonton in this situation, especially like for all the like good we want to talk about Fajardo, it isn't like great in a sense too. Where like I feel like maybe me specifically when like I do watch Edmonton games and like holding on to the somewhat positives from Fajardo, he's never like spectacular or like unbelievable, right? He just does his job, like kind of does like things okay. So I feel like in this game, like Hamilton they're playing for much bigger things, I feel like, than Edmonton is right now, even though Edmonton should be the more desperate team. But Hamilton, obviously case and proven by their season, is playing for first seed, and I feel like they can taste it. So I expect Hamilton to get up for this game, and especially at home, as Shane said, in front of a sold out crowd or close to.
Yeah, I mean, it's also they also have a couple. It looks like they might have a couple of people back. It looks like Isaiah Wooden Senior was a full participant today. Devin Verisag, who left last week's game on a stretcher or on a backboard, was a full participant so far for the first 2 days.
Precautionary, yeah.
Katsatonis, the DB, was a full participant today after not participating on Tuesday. So it looks like they're going to be getting some guys back. So we'll see. But yeah, I think Hamilton, they smell blood in the water. They know that they have a chance to lock up the East within the next 2 weeks and kind of go into probably their last 3 weeks of the season, because they can probably lock it up by week 19 if they can get a win this week and a win next week against Edmonton and Hamilton. Probably lock it up, so you go into 3 weeks of rest with a bye week in the middle of it. So, and then you host the final. So I think they're gonna come out ready to go. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Only coach is taking a difference this week with BC being the only odd man.
Oh, that makes you want to take Winnipeg, but like Chris Strebler, like how the hell do I take Chris Strebler?
Do it.
Like,
Do
Take a
it.
chance.
I can't though, because my reasoning was like, okay, can I afford to this early go down 3 games to Blake? And I think it's a little too early. I think I need to be in like the final month of the season to take that risk. So I'm playing the safe game for right now. I need to stay within striking distance of Blake until he starts to collapse, or give me an opportunity to jump on maybe a favorite or a dog, or maybe he does. Honestly, I thought, man, knowing this guy, how big of an Edmonton homer he secretly is, and all his Edmonton buddies, I was like, oh, he's going Elks for sure against Ticats. He's going Elks for sure. But he disappoints me and goes with Hamilton. So I will stay Shane as much as I want to pick Winnipeg, but like I think I was having this conversation with JC as well in the press box. So like I cannot believe BC lost to 2 backup quarterbacks this year. Jake freaking Mayer and Chris Strebler.
Three. Crumb's a backup too.
Oh, for fuck's sakes! And Dustin Crum came back.
be-
It makes it even worse too.
To be
Dude.
fair, at least Jake Mayer was a starter.
Mhm.
So like you didn't really lose to like a true backup. You lost to like a
Yeah,
borderline.
but he's the backup. No, he's the backup.
Now he
Shane.
is.
There's no sugarcoating. Oh, he started the game. He's the backup quarterback.
But he was a starter.
No, but he's the backup for a reason.
Sure, but he was a starter. So you have at least a little. It's a little
But
bit of.
You could say the same thing about Chris Strebler, and that doesn't make me feel any better.
No, not at all.
Chris
Not at all.
Strebler was the starter.
Jake Mayer dethroned Bo Levi Mitchell. He is the reason
Chris-
why Bo Levi Mitchell is in Hamilton.
No,
He didn't
no.
dethrone him.
Yes, he
Bo
did.
Levi left.
No, they picked Mayer over Bo Levi. They traded
Yeah,
Bo
which
Levi to Hamilton.
which was a tragic mistake.
It was. But you can't say Bo Levi left when he literally traded to Hamilton,
Fair
following Henry Burris's path. All we need is an expansion team for him to go to and lead them to a Grey Cup at like 40 years old and then retire. That's what we need. We need an expansion team, him to go there, and we're good.
I remember it very well, as I'm sure Blake does, because we were both in attendance for the 2022 West Semi, was it, or 2023 West Semi? Where obviously BC got out to a pretty sizable lead. Jake Mayer ended up coming into the game, and it was like, okay, this is obviously like the passing of the torch. Obviously, it was a blowout game, but it was like the writing was in the sand that they were moving on from Bo, and it was going to be Jake Mayer's team. Obviously, throughout that season as well, there had already been like the questions and stuff coming up and surrounding that situation. But it was like, man, like, because I feel like it was like BC was in control, but like in control of that game for a majority of it. But I think it was like a 13, like a 10 or 13 point lead. So it was like very curious to see how quick they went to Jake Mayer in a playoff game, in that one. So it was very interesting, and I guess he didn't win. Like, do you think he won the job in Calgary? Is that what you're trying to say, Shane? Like Jake Mayer?
Yeah, he won it. He took it. Like Bo Levi got hurt. He showed that he can be a starter.
Yeah, I guess he.
And they decided to keep him and trade Bo Levi to Hamilton.
I guess it'd be a different conversation if Bo didn't play well and Bo's been playing well. So
yeah, but this is also after keeping Bo Levi over like Nick Arbuckle.
Yeah.
Like they kept Bo Levi over Nick Arbuckle. They traded Nick Arbuckle to Ottawa, or to Ottawa. He never ended up playing a game before going to Toronto after being traded. And then they didn't want to make the same mistake again, so they traded Bo Levi to Hamilton and kept Jake Mayer. Now they're on VA, and Bo Levi's could lead Hamilton to a Grey Cup.
I mean,
good old cousin Jake.
It could be a Hamilton Calgary Grey Cup, but
boys,
Or
remember
it's going to be like 2013, and it's going to be Saskatchewan and Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
that's very possible as well. Or it could be BC Ottawa. We don't know.
All right, time to
It's
go.
not going to be BC Ottawa. I don't know what type of stream you're on.
That's
Like,
the cue.
not
That's the
happening.
cue to end it.
No, it gets usually a little crazier than that, Coach. We've been talking about crazy to end the episodes. What was music choice? Although Nickelback ain't too crazy, I love me some Nickelback. So
Oh, not the
We don't have to
Nickelback
go
thing.
through that again.
Yeah, they need to announce who the halftime show is. It's getting late.
Taylor Swift.
No,
didn't you hear?
they announced it in Regina like 2 weeks before the game.
Taylor Swift, dude.
Well,
Zach
they announced
Claros.
it in Regina.
She's doing the
because
Super Bowl.
Zach Claros pulled some strings, man. Zach Claros was like, "Yo, Trav, bro, I need your girl to come play the halftime of the Grey Cup. I ain't gonna be playing in it, but I need your girl to come play."
But the Saskatchewan was because they had the original band pulled out because of scheduling conflict.
Yeah, but they never even they never announced the original band. That was just it. So
I don't know. Things are gonna be interesting. I hope they actually pick like going from 3 Days Grace to, or not 3 Days Grace, from Green Day to
Jonas Brothers.
Jonas Brothers. You gotta do something. You can't just bring out like
Drake.
Oh no, I'll be down for
Yo,
Nickelback.
maybe that was why he's. Yeah, Nickelback honestly was who I was rooting for last year, man. Nickelback is, you can't go wrong with Nickelback, man. They have bangers.
Saw them in concert. They're dope. I'd gladly see them again.
How long ago have they played a Grey Cup? They must have played a Grey Cup though, haven't they?
I think so.
Nickelback,
Yeah,
I
I think
believe
they played like
have.
2011. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they played in 2011.
That actually sounds right, but
I don't know.
So
What we need is the Grey Cup logos to go back to being like good logos instead of the garbage that they've been the last like 10 years.
And then they charge us the same price for merchandise every single year.
Yo, have you guys seen the lineup for the merch this year? From what's been released? It's so bad.
I know it is.
Like
It's
even
literally
last
a
year wasn't
retread
great.
every year for the last 5 years.
Actually, Hamilton had some really nice pieces. I will say they had some pretty decent pieces for Hamilton. But last year's merch was very boring.
The only merch I care about is the one that has the 2 teams in the game. That is the only merch I care about. But
I know this
is the vintage look, the vintage merch.
I know this is slightly off topic, and we don't have to get into it too much. But did you guys watch any of the draft stuff with Luke Wilson and Dwayne Ford by chance?
Not yet. I haven't had a chance.
I'd recommend just watching the series because I believe there's 3 episodes. It's pretty decent, but the draft one just kind of came up into my head. I don't know why, just because I feel like we were talking about Grey Cup, and then
Was that the first one?
the combine kind of came into my mind. What's that, Shane?
Was that the first episode where they were talking
No,
about
so the
CFL?
first one was, I think, free agency. The second one was, I forget which one, and then the third one was the CFL draft. The third one was actually the first one that I watched because he obviously talks about the CJFL a little bit at the end and like pretty in depth, but it's just there's some pretty cool ideas. I'm sure we'll talk about in the off season. I would just recommend you guys like checking them out and just like more so the third one. The first two are kind of like almost just like kind of banging your head against the wall, like the same same old that needs to be fixed. Kind of he talks about, but Dwayne Ford definitely brings like a nice presence, and the third one is like interesting in terms of like the draft and trying to make it a little bit better and like develop players a little bit more. So I'd be curious to know what you guys think. Maybe Shane, if you check it out, buddy, let me know.
Yeah, I know one thing we didn't talk about today was the news out of Toronto.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to talk about that last week because
I
almost
purposely
forgot about it.
didn't. I purposely didn't talk about that.
The partnership between the Bills and the Argos.
Oh,
That's
Hey, go
that
Bills.
news.
That's one thing we didn't talk about.
Oh, it's a dumb partnership. Like, I know you're a Bills fan, Cole, but it's literally like an agreement where they can sell Bills merch at Argos games, and it's like, why would you promote a completely different league?
Because the
Yeah.
Bills have more credibility than the Argos.
Yeah,
I
but
think Shane slightly feels a little different, but I think he maybe does like I don't quite know how to word it, but like, because I tend to agree with you, Blake. I made that known on social media. Me and actually Shane had a pretty good back and forth in the DMs. Or Shane slid into my DMs about this, and like I kind of we did have different opinions of it, and like
Yeah.
Shane kind of thought it was good for the Argos, where I don't think so, and I even had a interaction with like Alan Cole. He's an Argos fan that lives out on the island. He's the one that has a like super sick setup with all the Argos helmets, CFL helmets, and then all the U Sports helmets. He lives like 20 minutes away from me in the Noose. And we had the conversation because he's actually a Bills fan as well. And like my thing is like as much as like Shane is right to the sense of like it gives the Argos credibility and it helps potentially spread the word of like the CFL and like the Buffalo, upstate New York area. I unfortunately think, and maybe Shane could speak to this a little bit more, because maybe my perception of it is like a little bit of like a stigma, or maybe online social media from at least what I see. And like for me, from what I see, a lot of like the Ontario folks that are like football fans seem to be like super big anti CFL like snobs that like they just like don't believe in like the CFL. They think it's a joke, especially because the Bills are so close. Where I feel like it's a little bit different in Vancouver, where I feel like people are Seattle Seahawks fans, but there's not like that slander, or at least I don't see that slander from like Seahawks fans and kind of like that back and forth. Where I feel
I would
like
agree with that.
there's not much of it, because I know there is bordering like what is it? Winnipeg borders with, is it Minnesota as well?
Mm-hmm.
South Dakota.
So there is like a few of these province to states that kind of do coincide, and there's fan bases that have to like get along, or even just like both. I think that's the shitty part of like the fans that are like snobs of the CFL that are like, oh, I only watch the NFL. Is like, just give the CFL like a chance, and I feel like you won't be disappointed.
The thing is, though, is that they're not snobs of the CFL per se. They're American dominant.
They're Americanized.
Yeah, like they're Americanized. Like these are the same. Like, and realistically, it's not even their fault. And I made a mention of it. Like, you wonder why American sports are so prominent in Canada. Why there's NCAA football and basketball fans. Why NCAA hockey, even though it doesn't turn out a high rate of players that aren't already high level players, comparatively, like, if you're undrafted and you're 24 coming out of U Sports or coming out of NCAA, your likelihood of going to the NHL and being a successful NHL player is slim. But it's in your face. It's always talked about. TSN broadcasts American sports all day, every day. And like, to be fair, it's cost savings because they don't have to pay for it. They just broadcast it. They're not paying production or anything. But they're not even like they're Americanized. They don't care for Canadian product. They're so used to American product in their face and American TV and content that like they just looks better. It's flashy, it's nicer, it's pretty.
That's what kind of like.
So
I don't know if scares me is the right word, Shane, but like so in BC, and I know it's starting to take over all over Canada. Where like in BC we started to see, and it's shitty for me because like I said to you guys off camera, right? I'm working at the mall right now, and at the mall, right, they have all these NFL flag signs up for all these kids to join and stuff like that, right? And I know the CFL has done a better job at this. Even in BC, Blake and I can speak to this of like Amar Doma doing it in BC of like now opposed to the kids wearing, say, Seattle Seahawks or Pittsburgh Steelers like jerseys for when they're playing. They're wearing CFL stuff, BC Lions stuff. But now when you read the thing, it talks about like flag football opportunities. NFL Canada already has a huge presence in Ontario already to begin with, where kids are playing flag football, wearing NFL teams opposed to CFL teams, where now that came into play even more in the article of like, it was like, oh, there's going to be flag football opportunities where hopefully it's like a dual logo of like Argos times Bills or something like that, where if it's just like an NFL Canada logo with like maybe a Bills logo, it's like you kind of just like I said that with Alan, my interaction with Alan, it's like kind of a slap in the face of the Argos a little bit, where like you're kind of growing the Bills brand opposed to like your brand a little bit more. But it is also, we haven't seen what's going to come out from it in, you know, when they actually do roll it out. So hopefully they do have their head in the right place, and hopefully they are able to benefit from it, because there is football fans out there craving football at that time of year, and all you have to do is attract them. As Shane said, it's not even their fault half the time, because American sports are just thrown down your throat even in the summer when there's not popular stuff on. It's kind of, and it comes down to the case of like the like kids growing up with Madden being thrown in your face, right? And you're growing up learning these NFL superstars opposed to CFL superstars, and you have no idea who the CFL guys are. The thing that I've loved to see now in Canada when you're watching CTV and stuff like that, NFL on Sundays, is you're starting to see like the Chase Browns and Sidney Brown start to get commercial. You're starting to see the other I believe it was Tavius Robinson who also was on a commercial. So it's like you need to grow these. Yeah, you need to grow these guys in Canada opposed to like just re-showing the progressive Lamar Jackson commercial up here. No offense to them, they're great players, but it's just like unfortunately the young kids just like they need the CFL in their face a little bit more, and it's unfortunate that the NFL is in their faces.
Well, again, you're looking at probably 40 years of CFL owners just wanting to own a sports franchise versus actually using it and looking at it as like an actual business, where like, you know, NFL Canada has made massive strides. I think the thing is that like Bills were going to do this no matter what. The Bills were going to try to come into Southern Ontario, try to make a bigger grab for Southern Ontario.
Well, they already did 10 years ago.
Yeah, and they're trying to do it again.
Okay.
And it makes financial sense for the Argos to partner with them.
Yeah.
And you hate to say it, but the reality is that there's a lot of people who, when they see a Bills logo versus an Argonauts logo, there's a lot more credibility with that Bills logo. So if you start holding camps that have both Bills and Argos players involved consistently with both branding in their face consistently, hopefully you'll see, you know, some things going towards the Argos. But I think my worry is that if this is going to be the death of 3-down football, I think
I hope not.
I think there's a very large push. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's necessary, but I think there's a very large push to move away from 3 downs, make it 4 downs, and I don't think it's going to be changing the field, changing anything like that. I think it's just they are going to look at maybe going from 3 downs to 4 downs. I think this is the stepping stone to get to that point. I hope I'm wrong, but that's where I think I see this going, is that it's going to be by the next CBA, by like 2028, you're going to see a decrease in the ratio. You're going to see 4 downs being talked about. And you're going to see how they can increase Canadian development.
Yeah.
But players want to be treated like pros. People want this league to be treated as a pro league. And you know what? Things are going to have to change. You're either going to adapt or you're going to fall. And I think, unfortunately, moving down to 4 downs might be the way to go.
Fair enough. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah. Again, the TV contract and the CBA, which I think the CBA is in 2028, expires in 2028, and the CFL TV contract ends at the end of this season. Those are going to be huge for the growth. Like those two things are going to be huge for the league.
Yeah.
And the CFLPA. Like the CFLPA needs to figure out if it actually wants to grow. It keeps saying it wants to grow the game, but nothing they've done has said they wanted to grow the game. Nothing they've done, nothing they've said has really pushed that. So it's for now for both sides to put their money where their mouth is and see what they can do.
My phone is dying, so y'all ready to roll?
I was gonna
Coach is ready to go home and nap.
my dinner's getting cold, so
That's fair. A little bit longer than usual. It's 15 minutes over. But thank you all for tuning in on this week's episode of the CFL Weekly Show. We'll be back here next week with more Canadian football content. Enjoy this week's football games from the CFL to U Sports to CJFL. Next thing you know, it's going to be off season. So enjoy it while it's here. Have a great rest of your week. We'll catch you here next week.
All right, y'all.